My heart broke when my ex-girlfriend introduced me to her friends as her ex while drunk. Now, as she gets close to someone new, I'm left wondering, how can you be over me so quickly? Unfollowed and in despair, will I ever regain the friendship we once had? Hey everyone's. I have been struggling over the past few days due to an emotional disconnect with someone who was not only my girlfriend for 2 years, but also my closest friend. We have known each other for a total of 3 years. If you are willing to listen, I would truly appreciate any thoughts or advice, just honesty, not merely what I want to hear. We met through an online game. I was 19 and she was 18 at the time in April 2020. I know what you might be thinking: long-distance relationships do not last. However, ours lasted for 2 years, which I find quite impressive. We hit it off, began talking on Discord, and realized we had a lot in common, both attending community college, sharing similar movie tastes, and even being the oldest siblings in our families. Neither of us rushed into anything. We spent months getting to know each other, establishing a strong friendship first. It was not a whirlwind romance. We talked almost every day, shared personal stories, and gradually became increasingly significant to one another. I was initially pessimistic about relationships due to past experiences, but she was different. Eventually, after months of late-night conversations and deep discussions, we both confessed our feelings and began dating. She was incredibly kind, empathetic, and a true hopeless romantic. She believed wholeheartedly in love and, despite the distance, was always optimistic about our relationship. She told me that I treated her better than anyone in her previous relationships. Over time, she disclosed the trauma she had experienced being sexually assaulted by her grandfather, with her father refusing to believe her. When she finally reported him, I supported her by helping her remain calm and reminding her of her bravery. Our relationship was filled with small, meaningful moments: late-night calls, watching movies, studying together. We even met twice. The first time, I snuck away from my family when we were in Disneyland to downtown Disneyland, where I met her as she took an Uber. We met and built Lego figures of ourselves to keep as mementos. The second time was for our one-year anniversary, when we rented an Airbnb near a college she was considering. Her parents never knew about me because they wanted her focused on her studies, but we made it work. I picked her up from the airport and we spent 3 incredible days together. She did not drive, so I took care of everything. When she fell asleep in the car, it melted my heart. She trusted me completely. Saying goodbye was difficult, but we continued to communicate every day. Over time, however, the distance began to take its toll and I started to lose feelings, not because of her but due to our circumstances. She sensed the change but remained hopeful. She wanted me to visit her at college, believing we could work through it. I wanted to visit, but financially it was just not feasible for me. We had come close to breaking up twice before due to miscommunication, but we had always managed to resolve things. However, that was before I started losing feelings. The earlier issues were solely miscommunication. Eventually, she confronted me about my feelings. Admitting that I had lost some of my feelings hurt both of us, but we remained close friends. I was still incredibly proud of her when she got accepted into UCLA. We talked often, albeit less frequently, as she became busier with school. Then things took a turn. One night she called me while drunk, crying and laughing, and introduced me to her friends as her ex before abruptly hanging up. The following day she felt embarrassed, but I reassured her that it was okay. Not long after, she was sexually assaulted again, this time by someone she thought she could trust. She did not tell me right away, but I could sense that something was wrong. When she eventually shared it with me, I was heartbroken for her. I encouraged her to report the incident and seek help, although I knew that this was easier said than done. She was eventually moved to a different dorm to avoid encountering him. Our messages became less frequent, but I still checked in every day. Then in February, she simply stopped responding. Days passed, then weeks. I reminisced about her and even began to feel something again, but I chose not to tell her. I wanted to be available for her and assumed she was genuinely busy. If she needed anything, she would always know that I was there. But apparently that was not the case. When she finally reached out, something felt off. She told me she was in therapy and taking medication, and when I expressed that I was still here for her, she simply replied, "Oh, thanks, but I am getting the help I need, so do not worry." That stung. It felt as though she was distancing herself. Then I saw an Instagram post where she tagged a guy along with the song, "Why You So Obsessed With Me?" That hit me hard. When I inquired about it, she confessed that she was talking to someone, just casually seeing where it went. She kept saying that she still held me very dear to her heart and wanted me to remain her friend, that just because she was talking to him did not mean our friendship had to end. However, she also indicated that things would be different. Our dynamic would not be the same, and there would need to be boundaries. I was hurting. I love her, but I also want her to be happy. I know people might ask, why would I fall for her again if my feelings diminished in the first place due to the distance? But she is such a sweetheart. She truly is. I know it is cliché, but she is not like any girl I have been with before. It is ironic, out of all my relationships, she was by far the most understanding person who shared my beliefs about constant communication and emotional intimacy. She always told me how I was the first guy in her life who had ever respected her and truly listened. I told her that I wanted to agree, that I wanted to be her friend, but I was conflicted. I needed time to sort my thoughts. She kept assuring me that she was there for me and that when I was ready, she would be there for me. I told her I would be around and that I would never forget her. I thanked her for listening to me and for being honest. We simply liked each other's messages that day. That night I went to bed, but sleep did not come easily. My heart was racing and my mind was spinning, replaying everything over and over again. Then at 3 a.m. I woke up to lengthy messages from her. She expressed that our earlier conversation had made her stomach feel terrible and that she could not shake the weight of it. She stated that I was her closest friend and that no one, no person, no situation could ever change that. She apologized for messaging me even though I had asked for space, but she could not keep her feelings to herself. Then she mentioned April 5th, the day we met, was approaching. This was difficult for me to read because she was right about that. I replied, telling her that she was the sweetest and most intelligent person I knew, along with many other commendable qualities. I expressed how she entered my life and positively influenced it. I assured her that regardless of what happened, I carried the certainty that she would always be close to my heart. I admitted that the absence of emotional intimacy would be remembered and missed, and that it had not been easy for me to even pick up my phone to text her. However, I told her that as long as I knew she was happy and being loved, I could live with that, even if it hurt. She responded by saying that she did not want to continue without me as her friend. I told her she would never lose me and that my support for her would always reside in my heart. I just had so many conflicting thoughts. Nevertheless, I would never easily cast her aside. I told her that I hoped when I went to the college I wanted to, which is near hers, we could spend time together and strengthen our friendship. She told me she still wanted to show me around her home city of Los Angeles, a conversation we had previously discussed before all of this. She mentioned that she understood I was going through a lot and that I was not alone. She said she was always there for me. I reiterated that I was here for her too. I reminded her that I was not a licensed therapist, but that I knew her just as well as she knew me. She then told me again that I was her closest friend and that not being able to text me about everything hurt her. She admitted that she had left me on read, but that I was never out of her thoughts. She just got busy and forgot. That felt strange given our closeness, but I did not want to believe she was lying. She never lies to me. She then asked why things could not revert to how they used to be. This confused me because she had indicated that our situation would be different. She questioned why she could not help me through this. The reality was, if I confessed that I had feelings for her again, it would complicate matters, and I could not do that to her. The fact remains, if I had told her that I had feelings for her once more, it would have complicated everything. I could not do that to her, so I simply stated that, as she knows, I am an overthinker at heart. She acknowledged this. That was why she could not pretend that nothing had changed. She knew me too well for that. Still, I asked her for her boundaries. She reiterated that circumstances would be different due to her new responsibilities. That still hurt to read. However, I appreciated that she had made an effort to talk to me because she cared. I told her that I understood and that she should do what she felt was necessary. I respect her. I cannot force anything. She then inquired if there was anything she should or should not do with me. I told her no, that she should simply do what she feels is right. After that, she said, "I have missed you a lot, dummy." She always liked to call me that and give me a multitude of nicknames. It touched me, but at the same time I understood that as happy as I was to hear from her, my feelings would only cause me pain, knowing she was involved with someone else. She apologized once more for not reaching out and for leaving me on scene. I insisted that she not apologize, but she was adamant. At this stage, I was doing my best to restrain my emotions and treat her kindly, but inside it was tearing me apart. She told me she wanted me to be happy. I replied that I was working on that. Then she suggested that we watch something together later. We introduced each other to numerous movies and shows. My greatest introduction for her was Star Wars. She used to think that Star Wars was too complex and lengthy, showing no interest, but she genuinely loved it after I presented it to her in chronological order. Yes, I made sure she received the full experience. However, she continued to express that things would be different. Even so, she suggested watching something together again. After that, we both went to bed and promised to talk the next day. I had gone for a hike that day to clear my head, as I felt the worst was yet to come. The next day, our texting reflected the same tone as the night before. I was glad to hear from her, but my feelings continued to gnaw at me. She shared her plans for later in the day, and I told her to enjoy her day and stay safe. She left me on read. Hours later, I noticed a note from her on Instagram. It was a song, "We Can't Be Friends" by Ariana Grande. That hit me profoundly. It was clearly directed towards me. I was in mental and emotional distress. My chest ached and my throat felt constricted. I did not know how to respond. I was left on read. I let it remain that way the entire day, and my distress intensified mentally and emotionally. My chest hurt and my throat was tight. I did not know what to do. I confided in someone close to me about everything, and they suggested that she might be going through a rebound because of her last relationship and that she might not know how to address things with me. They also mentioned that her leaving that note was not very considerate, as she could have been more upfront with me. But perhaps she did not want to hurt me, even though I would be hurt regardless. I then shifted my mindset out of desperation and texted her, expressing that I wanted to be her friend and tour Lowe's Angels with her and that I did not want to lose her. I was left undelivered. I assumed she had turned off her read receipts as well. She was still following me on Instagram and every other social media platform where I had her added. She still had her location on. She made that note post but was keeping me around. I was overthinking about the possibility that she would eventually move on. I repeatedly checked her Instagram page. She kept that note up all day. The next day, it was a different song, just a love song which I was certain was directed toward him. I was experiencing immense pain. As the days passed, she never replied to me. However, she would view my Instagram stories. I had not eaten for 2 days and was becoming sleep-deprived but could not find rest. I consistently woke up every morning at 3 a.m. without returning to sleep. I unhealthily checked my phone to see if I was still in her good graces. Then I considered sending another message. I contemplated sending her a text saying it was okay for her to let me go and move forward and that I would miss her. I eventually sent that message, no response. I informed her that she did not owe me one in that message. The next day, to my surprise, another song was posted on her notes. It was titled Someone New. I felt a surge of anger. I felt unfairly treated in this situation. I ultimately unfollowed her on everything because looking at her hurt me so deeply. I began to think that perhaps she did not unfollow me because she did not care enough to do so or because she was experiencing a connection issue with me. This hurt so much. I loved her wholeheartedly. I had been there for her through everything. Now this guy had the potential to take the place I once held in her life. I was uncertain if it was even healthy for her to be with this new person. I mean, this was all so new. I suspected she may have met this guy on a dating app since she left me on read when I checked on her. He was attending a college near hers, and I noticed that she liked an advertisement for a dating app shortly after. So anyway, I have been feeling pretty terrible. I keep harboring this hope in the back of my mind that we will find each other again and rekindle our feelings. However, that is merely hope. I cannot assume the future. I realize that unfollowing her somewhat places us in a position where we will not communicate anymore. I still have her number though. I also wanted to ask you all, if I give it a substantial amount of time and I move to college, would it be acceptable to reach out to her? Not with the immediate intention of getting back together, but simply to reconnect and engage in activities together. I will also need to ensure that I know if she is still with this guy or involved with anyone else. I do not think she harbors any hatred towards me. I do not believe I did anything wrong in this situation. I just love her. I still have our keepsakes. Story 2. My husband pushed me during an argument about cleaning his bathroom while I'm pregnant and emotional from IVF. You're only a few weeks pregnant, not like 9 months, he scoffed, then belittled me for crying. Now I'm questioning everything. Do I stay or leave with a baby on the way? Update 1. Several individuals have commented about my husband being unemployed. I must clarify that he is, in part, unemployed due to relocating overseas Asia with me for my career. He is currently seeking employment in different countries, which has also been a point of contention because I do not want him to move to another country when we are expecting our first child. 2. For those who asked, we have been married for almost 4 years. 3. Some people have questioned why I would pursue in vitro fertilization with this man. I am 39 years old, nearly 40. This is essentially my last opportunity to have children. If we were to divorce before the in vitro fertilization, I would very likely face a future without children. I proceeded with in vitro fertilization knowing that there was a chance things might not work out with my husband, but I am financially secure enough to raise a child on my own. Although it is not ideal, I am prepared to be a single mother if necessary. This is not what I envisioned for my future, but I am capable of handling it. My husband, 34 years old, and I, 39 years old, had a heated argument a few weeks ago, leaving me uncertain about our future, but the situation is complicated. We were expecting guests, and I had one request, for him to clean his bathroom before our friend arrived. For context, he is messy, while I tend to be more meticulous about cleanliness. Since our apartment has 2 bathrooms, the guest bathroom has been marked as his bathroom. I do not use it, and he maintains it as he pleases. I do not complain about the messy bathroom and will only ask him to clean it if we are having visitors. That day, my husband, who is currently unemployed, spent the entire morning playing video games until approximately an hour before our friend was due to arrive. At that time, he started to clean the bathroom, then went to prepare for our friend's arrival and took a shower. When I checked the bathroom, I noticed beard trimmings in the sink and shower, as well as all of the cleaning supplies cluttering the bathtub and counter. I pointed out that the bathroom was not clean. but he was short on time and asked me to help him finish while he got ready. So I completed cleaning that bathroom, but I was frustrated because I rarely ask him to do much around the house. He had one task to complete and failed to do so. Additionally, he was blaming me for his lack of time because I requested help with another task, but I had made it clear that it could wait until later. I work and pay for a cleaner to come approximately once a week so that he does not have to clean, as he dislikes doing it. The cleaner was scheduled to come the following day, so the bathroom had not been cleaned for a week at that time. Anyway, we got into an argument about the bathroom, and we were exchanging angry remarks in my bathroom. He had used my shower while getting ready. During our heated exchange, he pushed me while insisting that I leave the bathroom. He did not shove me hard, but I was taken aback that he would put his hands on me at all. To provide more context, I was about 6 weeks pregnant during this argument. We were just finishing our second round of in vitro fertilization, and I had previously experienced 2 miscarriages. Both of those miscarriages occurred during the 6 to 8 week range. At that moment, I could not believe he pushed me, and I assumed that my pregnancy was not on his mind when he did that. I pointed out that I was astonished he would push me while I was pregnant. He then continued to push me 2 or 3 more times since I refused to leave my bathroom while we were arguing, and he tried to dry off. I sat on my toilet seat and told him he could leave my bathroom, but after the initial push I had dug in my heels, determined that he would not get his way by pushing me around. I sat on the toilet, shocked and crying at what had just transpired. My adrenaline was racing and I was definitely in fight-or-flight mode. I wanted to retaliate against him when he was pushing me, but I had to restrain myself because I needed to be the bigger person. After our argument, he called me pathetic and an embarrassment for crying. I tried to remind him that 1, I am pregnant and hormonal, and 2, due to in vitro fertilization, I am taking additional hormone injections and a steroid. So yes, I was somewhat emotional, but I believe I handled myself reasonably well, all things considered. Following the confrontation, he scoffed at me and remarked that I was only a few weeks pregnant, not like 9 months. I pointed out that this stage of pregnancy is likely the most precarious given my history. He has been calling me dramatic and claiming that I am behaving as though I deserve my own Netflix special for battered women. He has downplayed his actions and insists that I need to take responsibility for my role in the argument. I should also mention that during the bathroom confrontation, he told me to get my fat ass off of the toilet and leave the bathroom. I include this detail to illustrate that during our fights, he often targets my deepest insecurities. Afterward, he expects me to dismiss the hurtful things he says and tells me that I am too sensitive or overly emotional for taking those comments to heart. I have reached a point where I am experiencing significant distaste for him now. This is especially true since he defended his actions and continued to belittle me for becoming emotional. He eventually apologized about a week later, but I do not consider it a sincere apology. He continues to minimize his actions while simultaneously suggesting that I take more responsibility. He appears to think that since he has apologized, I should move on and forget about it. He does not want me to bring it up again. I believe he expects that this should be like any other argument. However, something within me has shifted. I no longer feel respect for him. This post is already lengthy, but there are additional details I have omitted to keep it concise. I suppose my question is, should I end our relationship even though I am 8 weeks pregnant? We have attempted counseling in the past, but he does not seem to take it seriously. He openly states that he believes it is a waste of time and money. By the way, I am a counselor by profession. In many ways, this argument crossed a line and I now feel physically repulsed by him. At the same time, he still possesses redeemable qualities as a husband and perhaps we could figure things out.